Hey, welcome to this episode of Gas Therapy. I'm Michael. I share my knowledge of musical gear solutions which are cheaper and better, in my opinion. And if there isn't one that satisfies me, then I'll make one and make it as accessible as possible to you. Today, we're going to step into a whole new territory of musical gear gas, introducing my first audio effect plugin, AnyAmpIR, which is the ultimate efficient guitar and bass amp simulator, available from Mac, PC, and iOS under the plugin brand Gas Therapy. Let's rock! You might know me as a synth groovebox and sampler hater and lover as a YouTuber, but actually I was a guitar player like 10 years ago. I also formed a trio band during my college called the Voodoo Child. Shame on me. And recently I just got back to my guitar a little bit more as another approach to cure my gas on gears. But for playing and recording electric guitar, there are way more work you need to do other than just playing it acoustically. You'll need guitar pedals, power supply hub for pedals, and also a guitar amp. And the list don't stop here. If you want to record your guitar, you will also need a microphone, a mic stand, and an audio interface. And most importantly, you'll need deaf neighbors. Yeah, guitar amp speakers are just so loud. Even the Beatles are not allowed to use them on their own building. If you want to use a real amp, you need deaf neighbors. But I'm just not lucky enough. I don't have deaf neighbors, so I couldn't use real amps at home. I also don't have that much space to store so many amps and cabinets, so I choose to use software solutions. And holy moly, there are just a lot of them. But no matter if it is hardware or software, almost all of them shares the same feature design, which confused me for quite a long time. Like they'll have a 3-band EQ, usually named under bass, mid, and treble, which is just low shelf, bell, and high shelf filter. There is also a presence knob, which is just some EQ tweaking around the mid-range. They seem like useful on their own. But why do I need them when I record and mix my guitar all in my DAW? I already have a really powerful stock EQ, which allows me to tweak the sound however I want. What's the catch? And for the DAW I am using, which is GarageBand, the EQ is added to each and every track by default. So to me, those features about EQ in a guitar amp sim is just a wasting of my time, my brain cell, and my CPU power. And I'm really picky about that, because I'm still using the MacBook Air 2013 to make music, which has a really weak CPU and only 4 GB of RAM. And the most ridiculous thing is that those plugins even ask me which mic I want to use, and which mic position I want to put it onto. Jeez, what do all of those bullshit mean? Can you speak Chinese? Or any other language a real human can really understand? Obviously, you know I'm joking here. I do know what do they mean. In short, it is just another layer of EQ and compression added by the pickup mic. But come on, do they have to be this level of not obvious? Why do they have to waste my brain cell to make all of those decisions when I already have a really powerful stock EQ which allows me to do everything? They are just nonsense. No, they're not nonsense. They're common sense. They are common sense that they do it in this way on purpose, so that they can hide the truth and trick your mind into thinking, wow, this is so cool and professional and original, so that they can suck all of your money again and again and again. Now that is just bullshit. And not even mention the glory distortion an amp adds to the tone. To me, it is just an overdrive or distortion pedal added before the speaker cabinet. If you don't believe me, just look at those Michelle pedals. They already proved it for me. So basically, I'm being dazed and confused for so long, and it is true. Until a few months ago, I watched a video which eliminated all the question marks in my head. It's from a video series called Tested from channel Lill. Where does the tone come from the guitar amp? In that video, Jim did all the experiments to decode the secret of guitar amps, which shocked me and a lot of people. To sum it up, all of those guitar amps, including Michelle, Fender, Fox, you can just use a distortion pedal and an EQ pedal with speaker cabinets to recreate all the tones of all the amps. All of them. Just a distortion pedal and EQ pedal. That's all. Things like bias type, rectifier type, power tubes, preamp tubes. None of those bullshit matters. They all sound exactly the same. The only thing matters is the order and settings of EQ and distortion. If you don't believe me, just watch his video, link in description. It will blow your mind. So what a guitar amp, cabinet, and mic would do to your guitar tone, it's just the combination of distortion, EQ, and compression. Realizing this really opened up the tone design possibility for guitar and bass to me. We can totally design our own guitar amp from scratch. For distortion, we can just use a distortion plugin, free everywhere. And for EQ and compression, I know there is a really mature and efficient technology out there. It is IR. So here comes my new plugin, AnyAmpIR. Let me show you what it is. Firstly, it supports Mac, PC, and iOS. For Mac, it supports Audio Unit and VST3. For PC, it supports VST3. And for iOS, it supports standalone, AUV3, and inter-app audio in AUM and Audio Share. And just as the name shows, it allows you to use any amp or cabinet's IR. But you might ask, wait, Michael, what is IR? Well, if you don't know, IR is short for impulse response, which can replicate the static EQ and compression from a certain device gives to the tone. Which means if you got the IR for an amp, then you got the specific setting for that amp, cab, and mic in serial. How they would affect your guitar tone are all saved in this IR file, which is usually just a 1 second tiny bleep wave file, around 20 KB. It's really small. And the studio quality IR files are free everywhere nowadays. You can even make your own version. All of those plugin companies and even hardware amp modeler companies are already using IR technology in their products. It's really an efficient way to replicate a certain amp's EQ and compression effect. And my AnyAmpIR has this technology built in, allowing you to use any amp IR you can find. It supports IR files in .wav, .mp3, and .aif. You can turn this plugin into any guitar or bass amp as long as you got the IR file. Again, IR files are free everywhere. Now you might ask, Michael, there are already other plugins support IR. Why do you make it again? What's the catch? Good question. I do my version because after I tried a lot of other plugin solutions, I find they are just not good and not efficient enough for me. And mine is just way better and more efficient, in my opinion. It's clean and efficient, just like my AASamplePlayer, which is also free, link in description. For the clean part, just like AASamplePlayer, it's clean on the installation, just a single component file and a VST3 file for Mac and a VST3 file for PC. You can put it wherever you want. Then, it has a really clean UI, which won't get you lost from endless settings and knobs when you just want to simply play and record your guitar. And it is super clean to use. When you are loading a file, it doesn't duplicate it on your expensive storage, which means a lot to me. This way of file dealing is just way more future-proofing. For me, I really don't like plugins duplicating files on my devices without my permission. Now, let's see the efficiency. We Asians are good at efficiency. First, it's efficient to import IR files. For desktop version, you can use this amp power button to load files, or use drag and drop. I specifically made the drop target area to be the entire plugin window, just like my AASamplePlayer. So you don't need to drag a file, just like you're playing some first-person shooting game, which is just easier for your eyes. And once this file is loaded, this plugin will get to all the files in that file's file root path. So you don't need to drag or load files again and again. And then AnyAmpIR will show you the file name on the screen so that you know what IR you're using. And I designed it just like an amp logo. If the file name is too long, you can hover your mouse over it. It will show you the full file name. If you want to get to this file, you can just click the file name. Then it will automatically copy the file name to your clipboard. Then open the file folder and show you the file. And because I don't duplicate the file on your device, so you might lose the file link connection if you change the file name or folder name by accident. But when it happens, you will get the file missing hint. Then you can click the file name to copy and then search it later, then load it again. The workflow is just like my AASamplePlayer, and it is just convenient, especially for desktop version. And for iOS version, I haven't managed to support the file drag and drop, but you can still use the load button to batch load your files, which is also really efficient. And again, I don't duplicate your files on your expensive storage. I respect every inch of money you paid for your device. Then, it's really convenient to switch between batch-loaded IR files, or should I say, switch amps. You got the previous and next button. You can click them with your mouse, or just use the left and right key on your computer QWERTY keyboard. I just love the tactile convenience, but make sure the plugin window is on focus. Otherwise, the left and right will only trigger your DAW's shortcut. And if you got a huge IR collection folder like me and don't want to click too many times of next button, I also got you this IR scroller knob, which allows you to quickly jump between all the IRs loaded, and it is really convenient. And the other knob is for the output volume fine-tune, supports 6 dB up and down. Now, when you're satisfied with the imported IR list and want to save it to the plugin for future use, you can use your DAW's built-in plugin preset manager to save and restore. So the entire imported IR list will be saved as a preset in your DAW, which is really convenient. You might ask, Michael, why don't you just add the preset manage function in your plugin? We want that. Well, because nowadays, almost all the plugins have their own design of plugin preset management. So the workflow for just changing a preset from plugin to plugin is totally different. And I got hundreds of plugins. The workflow is all over the place. You have to relearn and re-get used to each and every one. And that is really killing my brain cell. So for me, I choose to only use the DAW preset management for all the plugins. So no matter which plugin I'm using, the workflow for changing preset stays exactly the same, which is really brain cell saving. The DAWs I use the most is the GarageBand and the Reaper on Mac and the GarageBand on iOS. They all have plugin preset management function built in. Solid workflow, super convenient. And for Mac version of GarageBand specifically, I can even use my QWERTY keyboard shortcut to switch between plugin presets, which is another level of convenient. So I really want to introduce this method of dealing with plugin presets to you. Just give it a try. Trust me, we Asians are just efficient. So with these features combined, you can easily get access to your favorite guitar or bass amps. If you're not satisfied with the sound of a certain amp, just switch to another one. I specifically ditched out a lot of unnecessary functions like EQ and presence, because they are just some simple EQ tweaking, and they're a joke in your DAW. I really don't want those endless settings and knobs messing up with my mind and my CPU power when I just want to simply play my instruments. And when I want to decide which amp to use, I want to judge it purely by my ear, not those stupidly fancy UI which nobody can hear, but still robbing my computer RAM and CPU power. I want everything to be in my control. But I know some people might not be satisfied with pure dark UI for a guitar amp, including me. So I minimized the amp front face design into this AnyAmpIR. For now, it supports Mi-Shell, Fender Twin Delay, Tweak, Fox, Mega Boogie Rectifier, PV, London Town, and AmpIR. I know I must spell something wrong, because my English is just poor. But if you get the right keyword in your IR file name or folder name, you will get the plugin theme updated automatically. And if you want me to cover more amp themes, just leave me a comment down below. I'll try to make it happen. Guitar nerds help guitar nerds. might ask, Michael, it seems like your AnyAmpIR can only replicate the EQ and compression effect, because it is the nature of impulse response. Now how about those overdrive and distortion from the amp? Where is my one-on-one real amp modeling? Well, firstly, not every situation needs a distortion. And even if you do, just like what I mentioned, those amp distortions are just like a distortion pedal. You can always add your own overdrive or distortion before IR to dirt up the tone. And don't we already have enough free ones? No, Michael. They are totally different things. They're just different. Okay, they're totally different. Just like how Bad Monkey pedal is different from Clone Centaur. It is the same old story. Eventually, it's just a combination of distortion and EQ. You need to judge the tone by your ear, not by what other people or even companies say. And I also want to point it out that I put the desktop version to be free, so that everyone can get benefits from my perspective of how certain things can get better. But still, learning to code and actually code it out cost me a lot of time, therefore a lot of money. And I want my channel and also my life to be healthy and consistent, so I still decided to charge it on iOS for $499, but one-time purchase. Some of you might think that $499 is just too much comparing to my free desktop version. But once you get to know the guitar amp sim plugin market, you will realize those manufacturers either sell you subscriptions and never let you to own a copy of it, or sell you different amp cabinets or mics again and again and again, which is just another IR file and some EQ and distortion tweaking. I got tired of all of them, so I made this ultimate solution to rule them all. And $499 is a fair amount of money, in my opinion. Again, one-time purchase, no annoying subscription. It has in-app purchase, but it has nothing to do with the plugin function. It's only for you to show some love by buy me a coffee or support me through Patreon, nothing more. If you think what I'm doing now is fun and useful, and you want to support me and support my channel, you can go grab it, link in description. Or you can just search AnyAmpIR in iOS App Store, no space needed between words. I also want to share you the sauce behind the name and icon of this plugin. I really don't want to waste my and my users' brain cell, so I just name it straight. If it loads AnyAmpIR, then it is AnyAmpIR. Not some stupid fancy name nobody can remember when you want to use it. By the way, if you couldn't find my plugin, it is under the plugin brand Gas Therapy. And this is just how GarageBand categorizes different plugins. And for the icon, me and my girlfriend tried a lot of versions, but eventually chose this one. It is simple yet efficient on showing you what it is. Again, saving you more brain cell while figuring out what the heck is this plugin. And I also really dig the lightning flash design. We chose it over a net-like design because it just represents all kinds of rock sounds so vividly and efficiently. And I even wonder if there is anyone ever think about paint it onto his face. That'll be cool. And yeah, this is the first audio effect plugin I made, AnyAmpIR. Allows you to use any guitar and bass amps, free for both Mac and PC, $499 for iOS. One-time purchase, no annoying subscription. Link in description. And please feel free to support me while purchasing this free plugin. Any tip would help me and this channel a lot. And you can also download the GarageBand demo project file to my Patreon. And there are also a lot of other goodies for you to download. Link in description. That's it for this video. I'm Michael. This is Gas Therapy, sharing you my knowledge of musical gear solutions which are cheaper and better, in my opinion, in multiple formats. And for those gas hole companies targeting at guitarists, may you rest in peace. See you in the next one.